I'm super excited to be recording today's episode. I've been looking forward to recording this all day long. If you've listened to my episodes before, I think you get an idea of how serious I am in my healing journey. And basically, I like to share everything as I'm going through it. I feel like what I'm going through is relatable. My limiting beliefs are relatable. My reaction to my beliefs are relatable as well. So I'm very excited to share what I worked on today. My mom, she sent me a book a couple weeks ago, and I'm not exactly sure the title of the book. It's like a PDF, but it basically explains how every disease that you have in your body stems from trauma. So I was browsing through the book and I found a specific exercise that's supposed to help you lose weight and maintain weight loss based on neurolinguistic programming. So I'm gonna explain that. Neuro, meaning the nervous system, so how we think and how we process experiences. Linguistic, meaning language, how we use words to shape our internal world. And then programming, patterns of behavior, how we run certain habits or beliefs. So basically, NLP is about understanding and reprogramming the way that your thoughts, language, and behaviors interact so that you can shift your mindset, your emotional responses, and your results. So I thought I would try it out myself. I will share the exercise and my reflection from the exercise with you guys. In a nutshell, there are 4 exercises. This is supposed to happen in a length of 7 days. I will be taking more than 7 days in order to do this just because of the amount of self-reflection that's involved. But basically, there's 4 exercises. The first one, you notice your thoughts. The second one, you define what you truly want and how you want to feel. The third one, you clarify your realistic health-centered goal. And then the fourth one, you train yourself to handle difficult moments and build new patterns. The idea is to do those 4 exercises regarding weight. So notice your thoughts regarding body, weight, food, exercise. Define what you truly want and how you want to feel about those topics. So for this episode, I'm basically going to talk about exercise 1, which is observing your current thoughts. The goal for this exercise is to identify what you really think about your body, your eating habits, your ability to change. You want to identify any limiting beliefs, any negative self-talk. After that, I journaled about all the questions and all my replies, and that's what I'm going to be sharing. Question number 1. When you think about your body or your ability to lose fat, what thoughts come up automatically? My answer was, I feel like losing weight is nearly impossible for me. Like, I will struggle a lot and I won't even be able to accomplish fat loss. It feels very overwhelming. My stomach sinks. I feel powerless. If I see fat loss or weight loss with the same lens that I've always used, then this is most likely the same way I felt when I was a child. So as a child, it felt nearly impossible to lose weight. So for me and for a lot of people, wanting to lose weight is just the surface of wanting to be accepted, wanting to be loved, wanting to be safe. Now, let me rephrase that. As a child, it felt nearly impossible to get my dad's approval, get my dad's unconditional love, or feel safe. I personally struggled a lot emotionally, mentally, and physically trying to achieve my dad's love, acceptance, and safety, and I was never able to achieve it. It's literally 12 years later after the fact that my struggle with my dad and food started that I'm working on it. So in this specific case, fat loss and weight loss equals acceptance, love, and safety. I took a moment after reflecting that to kind of validate myself and my experience. So I wrote, I was a kid. I was a child. I didn't deserve to harm my body in an attempt to feel accepted, loved, or safe. I deserved a father who accepted me the way that I was and looked at me with zero judgment or disappointment. I deserved a father who was able to show me his love even if I had cravings or even if I didn't exercise that day. I deserved a father who would make me feel safe. I know that for some people, their almond parent was their mom and their father was never involved in that dynamic. For me specifically, it was my dad, the almond parent, and my mom stepped in to protect me. So if this is not the case for you, I highly encourage you to think about someone who was able to give you love and acceptance. So I kind of just gave myself examples on how my mom actively accepted, loved me, and protected me throughout my life, just to remind myself that although my dad wasn't able to do that, I was able to experience a parent who did that for me. Now I'm at a point in my healing journey where I get to do that for myself. And I feel like if you're listening to this episode, whether because you're a continuing listener or because you actively search for this specific topic, if you're listening to this, I do believe that you are in your healing journey and that you are at a moment in your life when you're ready to be that one person who makes you feel accepted, loved, and safe. So right now, I get to do that for myself. You get to do that for yourself. And although there's a part of myself who wants to keep judging myself and wants to keep being critical, there's a bigger part of myself that is very intentional about healing. That's evidence that I do love myself. I'm putting the effort in therapy, journaling, self-reflection, my daily thoughts. I'm actively putting effort to let go of my dad's comments and finally accept myself, which basically means that I see myself and I recognize that I am someone who deserves to be accepted, loved, and safe. And to whoever's listening to this, I can tell you, you deserve to be loved, accepted, and safe. And I am so sorry that your parents or someone other than your parents failed to make you feel that way. But that's okay because we're in our journey right now and we are going to make sure that we get what we deserve. Moving on. Question number 2. When did you first start to feel like fat loss was going to be hard or unrealistic for you? If I see it as if it's just fat loss, then I have always found myself with the desire to lose weight. I've been wanting to lose weight for the past 12 years. I've never been able to get rid of that sensation. So constantly having that urge to lose weight or that reminder in my brain that tells me I have to lose weight makes me feel like I've never been able to lose weight. Why am I still thinking of that? Now, if I don't see it as fat loss and I see it for what it truly is, which is acceptance, love, and safety, the question now becomes, when did you first start to feel like acceptance, love, and safety was going to be hard or unrealistic for you? I can't help but think that me eating ice, throwing up, over exercising, skipping meals, punishing myself for eating, those moments where I was physically harming myself the most, that wasn't enough to unlock or maintain my dad's acceptance, love, or safety. And if I really think about it, I don't think there was anything I could have done that would make my dad accept me, love me, or make me feel safe unconditionally. And this is when I realized me not receiving my dad's love, my dad's acceptance, my dad's protection was not a reflection of my value. It was a reflection of what my dad had within himself. My dad wasn't able to accept me because he wasn't able to accept himself. My dad wasn't able to love me unconditionally because he didn't love himself unconditionally. My dad wasn't able to make my life or everything around me a safe environment for me because he was not a safe environment for himself. You can only give what you have. And after reflecting that, I really hope that at least a small part of me can feel relief in the idea that the reason that I never received acceptance, love, or safety from my dad wasn't because I didn't try hard enough, but because he was just not able to provide that for me. Next question. What do you believe about yourself when you crave something off plan, so something that's not from a diet, or when you don't follow through perfectly with exercise or eating? My answer: disappointment. I never do things right. I'm shameful. I'm not even trying. I know what being healthy looks like, and I'm still deciding to buy food and skip a workout. If fat loss means acceptance, safety, and love, then whenever I feel like I'm not doing the right thing, and this can be if I'm having cravings, if I skipped the workout, if I was feeling uncomfortable and I ordered food, I feel like I'm disqualifying myself from the love and acceptance and safety that I've always wanted. So the disappointment isn't exactly about not being able to exercise or not eating properly. It's just the echo of a belief that every misstep makes me less worthy of being loved. So I started viewing myself as a mistake. Every single error I made was basically a way where I would affirm that I would never be loved, accepted, or safe. I've internalized this belief that love is earned through performance. And when I'm unable to perform perfectly, I basically treat myself the way that I have always been treated by my dad. I treat myself with shame, punishment, and emotional withdrawal. And now I'm at a point where I am able to understand that I don't need to follow a plan perfectly in order to be worthy of love. And not only do I not need that right now, but I never did. I learned to survive in a system that made love conditional. And now I'm in the point in my healing journey where I get to unlearn that. Most of the time, if you're craving weight loss, you're craving safety. And you learned that people accepting you, people loving you being safe is tied on how much weight you lose, on how you look like, on what size of jeans you wear. But now you get to unlearn that. Now you get to teach yourself and make yourself realize that love is unconditional, acceptance is unconditional. Safety is unconditional. The moment you start feeling safe, loved, and accepted is the moment you're going to stop fixating. And now, the next question, I think this is like the biggest discovery I did on my journaling. Question number 4. Whose voice do those judgments sound like? You never do things right. You should know better. You're not even trying. For me, my dad's. That's my dad's voice. I've had my dad's voice in my mind since I was a kid. Since before I left the house, since before I stopped talking to him. And even after, I think it's like 4 years and a half now that I haven't spoken with my dad, or almost 4 years, I still have his voice in my mind. My guess is that almost everyone's negative thoughts come from someone else. Ask yourself, who has told you those things? Who has insulted you that way? If you think you're a failure, tell me, who has called you a failure before? Was it your parents? Was it your professors? Who was it that insulted you and now you believe it? So based on that, I think this specific part of the podcast is relatable to everyone. Okay, you'll understand why. So I internalized my dad's voice basically means that I learned to monitor myself through my dad's eyes, because being accepted by him felt like the only way I could actually be accepted, loved, or safe. So I internalized his voice, hoping it would protect me, hoping it would give me the love that I deserved. So I basically learned to look at my body, my choices, and my emotions as if it was my dad who was watching me. It felt safer to self-police than to be off guard by his disapproval. In other words, if I can anticipate his judgment, I can avoid the pain of rejection. Or if I can keep myself in check, he won't have to criticize me because I'm already ahead of it. I internalized it so I could protect myself. From an attachment perspective, I shaped myself as my dad so I could avoid rejection or abandonment. When we do that for a long time, there's a part of you who just wants to be you that feels like a threat to the system that you built in order to feel safe. So, in other words, I internalized my dad's dialogue to stay close with my dad so I could avoid his rejection, his abandonment. And I internalized it for so long that when there's a part of me who just wants to be, that part of me that wants to be in peace feels like a threat to the system that I built to protect myself. That system being fixating on weight, fixating on body, counting calories, being obsessed with how I look like, the way my clothes fit. I did talk a little bit about this in therapy like a few sessions ago, but we basically just talked about how when I was a kid, I basically had to comply with my dad because I didn't have the option to stay away from my dad. When you're a kid, you can't move out. Like if you're 10 years old, you can't move out of your house. The world is a scary place. You don't have anywhere to go. You don't have money. You don't even know half of everything you need to know to actually go out and about in the world. So although your parents are abusing you, connection to caregivers equals survival. So basically, you choose protection over peace. Going further, since love, warmth, and attention were only available if I met certain conditions, my nervous system made an adaptive decision to become who they want me to be so I can stay connected to protect myself from total abandonment. So, for me specifically, since I only felt love when I was actively losing weight, I began to abandon my own needs, monitor myself from my dad's perspective, punish myself whenever I didn't meet his standards, and this became my survival strategy. And this is why it's so hard for me to let go right now, because I'm still in survival mode. When I feel guilty or ashamed, this is not about my habits. It's also about my attachment style trying to prevent disconnection. So this is where the question rose. What exactly is attachment style and what exactly is that disconnection? So, attachment style. This is a part of your nervous system and emotional brain that's responsible for making sure that you're connected with others for survival. As I said, being close to your caregivers literally keeps you alive. So, your attachment style is always scanning: am I loved? Am I accepted? Am I safe? What do I need to do to stay connected? So, if you had parents that were emotionally mature and were able to love you unconditionally, your attachment system learns the world is safe, I am enough, I can be myself, and I can still be loved. On the other hand, if you grew up with emotionally immature parents, or parents who made love conditional, your attachment system learns, I must monitor myself, I must earn love, I must be who they want me to be, or I'll be left alone. Important thing to remember, our attachment system is shaped in childhood, but it runs the show in adulthood. So the key is to reparent your attachment system, because as of right now, my attachment system basically says I need to be perfect to be safe. I panic when I fail. I need to shame myself into control. I mistake self-criticism for self-discipline. And love is conditional. Now, what is that disconnection? This is the emotional danger my system was trained to avoid. So basically the fear of being unloved, unseen, or emotionally abandoned. So as a child, disconnection meant my dad withdrawing his affection, being met with disappointment instead of comfort, feeling invisible or not good enough, the loss of emotional safety in my own home. So right now, as an adult, my brain interprets craving food, missing a workout, or feeling tired or unmotivated as signs that I am failing at conditions of love, which risks disconnection, even if there's no one in my life currently judging me for it. So whenever I crave food, I am failing the condition to be perfect because my dad wanted someone who had zero cravings. I feel like I am risking my dad accepting me, my dad loving me, or my dad making me feel safe. Whenever I miss a workout, I feel like I'm failing the condition of love because my dad expected me to exercise every day. And I'm gonna share this specific text from a video I found online. I don't know the creator for this, but it basically says, the devastating part is that you're sacrificing your own needs to avoid a trigger and a threat that is no longer there. But that's what changes everything, because the moment you understand why blank feels like a danger is a moment that you can set yourself free. And this is why I love this exercise, because it was able to bring me to this point where I'm able to recognize what caused my brain to act or work the way that it's currently working. So this survival strategy was helpful for when I was a kid living with my dad, but I'm no longer a kid and I'm no longer living with my dad. I don't need it anymore. Although there is no threat right now, I feel like there's threat and danger around me, so I'm behaving as if it exists. And this is what happens when you have a dysregulated nervous system. If you don't feel safe, it's because you are anticipating a threat or danger. So your system is still trying to guard you from the threat of most likely emotional abandonment. It might be physical abuse, psychological abuse. It's different for everyone. So after breaking everything down, I understand I need to reparent my attachment system. And I feel like it's very important that I got to this conclusion. Logically, and I think I've said it before, I was aware that I needed to change my limiting beliefs and replace them with new ones. But just understanding that not only do I need to change my beliefs, I need to reparent my attachment system makes me understand more what's happening inside of me and how I can help myself. So the two things that I noticed was that number one, I need to unlink fat loss from acceptance, love, and safety. Number two, I need to reparent my attachment style. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Observe your current thoughts, ask yourself questions, identify things in your answers, and not only answer the question, but reflect on your answer. What does this mean? I highly encourage you to be curious about the architecture of your pain because it is very telling and it will help you understand a little bit more what your next step needs to be. So, yeah, try out the exercise. Let me know how it goes. I hope it's helpful. Thank you so much for listening. Stay tuned for next week's episode. God bless you.